I'm Chris Badgett here from LifterLMS, and we're live with Michelle Nunan, and she has a course that's currently open for enrollment about how to build a learning platform site with LifterLMS and Divi. Michelle, I'm stoked to have a conversation with you this morning or this afternoon across the pond. How are you doing?
Oh, thank you. I'm good, thank you, and thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, we've been around each other for a while now. Since you started, getting into courses or getting into Lifter a couple years ago. I was looking at your course library on, do you call it the Divi Academy? Is that what you call it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And your big brand is Divi Soup.
It
right?
is, yeah.
Can you take us through like the tour of like, what is Divi Soup? What is the Academy about? Like, what is it that you're up to in the Divi community?
Sure. So Divi Soup was my first site, and that was a blog that I created for tutorials to help people using Divi. And my audience is sort of web designers and developers, but also because Divi is such a versatile theme, it's DIYers as well. So people building sites for their own businesses. So it started off as a tutorial site basically, and then I got into building Divi child themes because design is what I really love to do. And then about 6 to 8 months later, I created my first course, which is the Divi child theme course, so how to build and sell premium child themes. And that course is open as well at the moment. So that was my first course. And that's what started Divi Academy. So that was the first course on Divi Academy, which was created on Lifter. And then I added a CSS for beginners course, which is also Divi focused. I mean, it does, obviously, CSS is CSS, so it is for anyone, but there's a certain way with Divi that you can use CSS, and it's not always that obvious. So that was my second course. And then I created my membership again with Lifter. So that's a monthly recurring membership. And each week the members get a brand new unique and exclusive resource for Divi. So I don't sell those products that I create anywhere else. They're just within the membership. You can't get them anywhere else. So they are things like layouts, tutorials. We do live trainings. We've got a live training series we're going through at the moment on CSS Grid. We just did part 2 last Monday. So every Monday there's a new resource for members, and we take requests and we try to create, what the members want. And then lastly is the course that you were just talking about, the Divi and Lifter course, which has just launched. It was open for a while for beta students, but it's just open for general release now. And that's going really well. So yeah, that one was a long time coming. I think I started planning that over a year ago. But you know what it's like creating courses. It always takes longer than you think.
It does, but you got it done. Not only have you created a course, you created 3 and a robust membership as well. I have some questions about how did you decide what this first course would be?
The child theme course.
Yeah.
It just demand, basically. I'm very active on Facebook. It's where my audience are. The Divi community on Facebook is huge in terms of a Facebook type community. I've never seen anything quite like the Divi community. Everyone's extremely generous and kind and helpful, and there's nothing that you can't really find out about Divi in the Divi Facebook groups. Everyone's, someone's got an answer, someone's got a tutorial, they've got a code snippet or something for what you do.
I just have a question. I'm just curious because I've noticed it as well. The Divi community is so engaged and so helpful to each other. Like, where does that come from, do you think, or why is that?
I think it's a passion. There's something about Divi, people that use it. I mean, every theme is going to have issues and bugs, and, there's going to be things that you don't like. But I think the thing with Divi is the passion. You open it and it's just so much fun to work with. I've tried other themes and page builder plugins, and whilst they may be good, I don't enjoy it. You know, it's just a bit, I'm bored, if you like, which is, you know, it's bad to say, but I don't know, there's just a passion surrounding Divi, and I think that's, everyone sort of feels that same passion, and it just makes everybody that bit more helpful, I think.
What makes Divi a person a good fit for Divi? Like when you see, like, what do you think kind of binds, whether they're doing it for clients or doing it for themselves? Like, what's the ideal Divi person like?
Oh God, that's tough. I don't know if there is an ideal Divi person. I think probably more because it's a drag and drop page builder, probably more visual people, you know, people that work better in a visual setting rather than, you know, perhaps a sort of coding setting. So more for designers, I would say, more for designers and DIYers than necessarily developers. But at the same time, Divi is so flexible, there isn't anything you can't do with custom code. You know, I've never come across anything in Divi that I can't do, that I wanted to do. So I
think I see something in the Divi community that makes it unique, is that there is that visual drag and drop kind of design heavy skill, but also a willingness to, like, if you need to do a little custom CSS to make it perfect or whatever, that's in the community too. Whereas it's just interesting. So they're very visual, but also can get a little technical if they need to, or find somebody to help them do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Divi's got a ton of settings, and they're always adding more features. You know, they're very much like the Lifter team in they're dedicated to continuous improvement and development. And there's a lot you can do with the built-in settings. But, you know, when you're working with any page builder, it can sometimes be difficult to stop your sites all looking very similar. But the way that Divi is built, it allows you to add that custom, you know, extra CSS or jQuery to just, you know, push it that bit further and have it look different to what any other Divi site would look like, if that makes sense.
That does make sense. That does make sense. And I also want to mention that you've even made a theme for LifterLMS.
I have, and I'm working on another one as well, actually.
Oh, wow. You heard it here first. That's cool.
Yes, I have Ventura, which that's over a year old now, actually. But yeah, I've just started working on another child theme for Divi and Lifter, which will be on sale, but it will also go free to course students once it's live. So they'll get that as a free bonus. So yeah, I'm working on that, and I've obviously got the other one. But I do plan more because I really like working with Divi and Lifter.
Cool. Well, I want to talk about your new course a little bit, but before I get into that, I'm really fascinated with your membership, because for a lot of reasons, but I think it'll be helpful for everybody watching this to see how you think about it. Because I see a lot of confusion in the space around the difference between a course and a membership or a membership site. These words mean different things to different people. But could you describe, you kind of mentioned it earlier, but like what exactly people get with a membership? Like, are the courses included in the membership? Is the membership on top of courses, or separate? Or
they're separate. So they're separate products. So the premium courses are separate. They're standalone. You buy them as
individually.
Yeah, when they're open. The membership, it has one course. The courses in the membership are intended to be mini courses. So, you know, just sort of 3 modules with a few lessons, and they're very focused on a specific topic within Divi. So maybe a particular module or a particular feature.
Are the mini courses like structured in like a course format, or more just like a 3 videos kind of thing? No,
they're still in a course format. So I use the Lifter course feature, but then obviously when you enroll in the membership, you get access to that course, which is a feature within Lifter that you can auto enroll in courses when they enroll in memberships.
I just want to highlight that concept of the mini course is really cool. And it's not like, for the learner, it's not as intimidating as like the big course.
Yeah.
So you can get a lot of quick wins. It's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. You've also got to think about as well, you know, when you're creating a membership, and especially when you're sort of a one-man band or you have a small team, about the amount of content you can actually create, and that you don't overcommit to the content that, you know, you promise to deliver. And knowing myself how much work goes into a premium course, adding that kind of product to a membership, you know, unless your membership is not giving out weekly content, that's a really big ask.
Yeah.
And it's quite a low priced membership as well. I think it's quite a reasonable price for the content that it offers. So it's not really viable to do that type of big course in there. But we have layouts. So they might be an entire page layout, like a sales page or a landing page, or they may be specific sections. So earlier when I said about using custom code within Divi to have a look or a feature or a function that isn't provided in the built-in settings, that's a lot of what we do. So we'll create, for instance, a pricing table. So recently we created a pricing table with a comparison chart and a toggle between monthly and annual pricing, but it uses the Divi built-in pricing table. So what we try and do is use the native features, but extend them to do what you want them to do without the need for an additional plugin.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, just to look at your course a little bit, I've actually got, well, before we look at it, you don't do evergreen, like you open and close the courses, like you have enrollment periods?
Yeah, I do. They generally open every 3 months for 7 days for enrollment. And the main reason that I do that is that I find when people, even if some people don't start the course immediately, when everyone enrolls at the same time, it creates a better community. And I think people work together and they communicate and they ask questions and they provide support more so than if you just have people enrolling as and when, you know, they want to. And because, I don't know, I think because of the way that the Divi community is, I really like that, that community feeling within the course and people, you know, helping each other out.
Yeah, that only makes sense if people are kind of going through it at the same time, that they're naturally going to be more in sync and have relevant conversations with each other.
And I think I'm not sure yet. I'm going to see how it goes. But because of, with the Divi and Lifter course, because of the topic of it, I think that perhaps people will want the course when they need it. So because it's focused at not only web designers building for clients, but also DIYers, if you're wanting to build a learning platform, then you're probably going to want to get started now and not wait for enrollment. And the same with designers. If you have a new client that wants a learning management platform, then you may need the course immediately. So I am considering after this first enrollment opening that up just as evergreen, but we'll see.
That makes sense. I'm kind of scrolling through your curriculum here. You have a lot of stuff, and it's really cool. It's really comprehensive. How did you, as an instructional designer, how did you structure it? I mean, it's not, you're not new to this rodeo. This is your fourth course on this site. So how do you approach curriculum design? The way that I teach is I only build stuff that I've learned. So it's all from experience, really. You know, it's like I've built this because I've done it. My site's with Divi and Lifter. You know, I wouldn't go and create a course using Beaver Builder and Lifter because I don't use Beaver Builder. So I kind of take it in the sense that what did I do and what did I do wrong? And, you know, just to try and remove everything that I potentially did wrong, and just try and break it down into logical steps and logical sections. I try to keep videos, it's not always possible, but I try to keep lessons to
sort of between 3 and 10 minutes. Some of them in this course are a bit longer, up to sort of 25 minutes, but some things have to be. There's not, you know, always something you can do about that. But yeah, just try to break it down as much as possible, because you haven't always got the time as well to sit there and watch a 15 or 20-minute lesson and then go and implement that. So if you can sort of work on your learning platform, for instance, in small bites, I think it's much more easy to digest. So I just try and sort of think, right, okay, what small thing could we do and make that into a lesson, and just work through it that way, really.
What's the what should a person, like, what place in their course creation project should they be at when they come to this course? Is it like they just have an idea, or they've already got some content, or what do you, what kind of person?
The course doesn't actually teach how to create a course. It's not about your course. So you can have an idea for a course, or you can have your course content complete. That doesn't matter. It's more about the platform. So ideally, you haven't started building your platform. Ideally, you haven't even decided on which learning management system to go with, or you've decided on Lifter and you're going to, you know, go and purchase. Because I have a few modules at the start which help with planning. And this was one of the modules that was really important for me because, you know, I made mistakes and I'm still suffering for those mistakes. And that was due to not thinking about what I wanted the site to be in a year, in 2 years' time, you know, just thinking about what I need now. So it's about structuring and planning, you know, for the future, for you, what you want it to be, and then only purchasing the components that you need for now. And then you can always go and, you know, upgrade and add more stuff later. Because as you know, I think one of the major things that people struggle with and why they fail to launch is they just get overwhelmed with all the tech.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I'm really glad you put that at the beginning. It kind of sets them up for success. A little planning in the beginning goes a long way. I noticed, your course comes with some community components. You have a Facebook group, is that right? Yes.
We have a private Facebook group. Students have direct email access to me and my support team if they need anything. We haven't had this on other courses, but on this course, we've also got comments open on the lessons, so that, you know, people can ask questions direct on the lessons as well. So there's a number of, you know, ways for support.
That is awesome. So if this looks interesting to you, there's a link beside or below this video. You can also head over to divi.academy.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And find it there. This is really awesome, Michelle. I wanted to ask you, you mentioned like one of the ways you teach, it sounds like, is you go through something, like you've built courses before with Lifter, and then you're like, okay, I could do that a lot better the next time. I'm going to teach, I'm going to try to help people go through a journey and not make all the mistakes I made.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'll go and do it wrong and then not to do it wrong. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that was, I kind of learned that in my first course. So when I created the child theme course, when I first started creating child themes, there wasn't that many people doing it. It was only maybe sort of 4 or 5 doing it or doing it well. And one of the major stumbling blocks that people had was how to package them and deliver them to the end user. And there was a lot of questions in the Facebook community about how to do it. And, you know, there was no information out there. I think a lot of people were perhaps a bit guarded about that information because they didn't want other people sort of coming in and doing the same thing. But there was no posts or anything explaining how to do it. And to be honest, whilst there is now, it's not a, you know, oh, this is how you package it thing. Right. Do you know what I mean? There's so much more to it. I mean, yeah, anyone can create a child theme and package it if they know how to. and potentially sell it. But to be successful, you know, there's more to it than that. And that course takes you again right through from planning to support. So, you know, supporting the child theme after someone's bought it. So yeah, there's a lot to that as well. You know, it takes you sort of choosing a niche, you know, where is their demand, what sort of child themes are their demand for, and things like that. And I did that about 6 months after I started creating child themes. So during that time, I'd learned a lot, and, you know, I'd obviously made mistakes. And that's what I did with that course, is to try to help people do that and make a side income, but avoid the mistakes that I made.
That is awesome. Yeah. I mean, and the Divi community is huge. Like you said, maybe there wasn't a lot of great, well curated, well put together information around building child themes, but I don't, do you know any of the numbers on how big the Divi community is or anything like that?
Well, I mean, the community on Facebook, do you mean?
Well, just in general. Yeah.
Well, I think Divi's got something close to 500,000 users, I think, you know, which is massive. I think that's the number. It's the #1 theme, I think. I think Divi and Genesis kind of...
it's like, yeah, like the top most used.
Yeah, they sort of switch, I think. But the Facebook groups, I mean, the largest Facebook group for Divi has got nearing 30,000 members now, which is massive for a Facebook group, you know, for such a small niche. I mean, it's like a WordPress theme, you know, it's like a niche within a niche. It's so, you know, tiny. But yeah, I mean, you can look at all of the other themes, even something like WooCommerce, it just doesn't get that sort of community involvement that, you know, that Divi does.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, thank you for making a course for how to build a learning platform with Divi and LifterLMS.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and for those of you watching, go check it out. Enrollment is open for 4 more days. When are you?
It closes on the 7th at 7 p.m. UK time.
Awesome. Well, Michelle, thanks for having a chat with me here live today, and yeah, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you, Chris.